if I just had a clean slate, I came out of nowhere, I have a D in front of my name, I'm touting the same values, the same views that I believe now, I guarantee you that I will win a Democrat primary against other Democrat opponents who align more with Black Lives Matter. I guarantee you I will. This is because Black people are conservative. So I'm about to show you all a campaign ad that was shared with me a few days ago. And so I will attempt to give you my thoughts on it. It's a Black man, a Democrat running for governor of Arkansas. I personally have family who live in Arkansas, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be voting for this guy, not simply because he's Democrat. I mean, my family's Democrats, but because of the messaging in his campaign ad, and I'm sure on his campaign trail. A couple of things that I want you to pay attention to as this campaign ad is going on. Listen to the conservatism in his message. That's what I think you need to pay attention to. Listen to the pro-faith, pro-family, pro-entrepreneurship, the belief that a community can grow and become affluent with hard work ethic. Listen to this tone in this campaign ad in a climate where the media is telling us that all Black people believe in the ideas and the talking points of Black Lives Matter. Listen to how much Black Lives Matter talking points you hear in this campaign ad versus how many conservative talking points you hear in this campaign ad.
I'm a physicist. I'm also an ordained minister. Now imagine that this stole represents time. Not just my lifetime, but my ancestors and my children. As a Christian, I thank God every day for that time. As a physicist, I know that time is also relative. And with the right amount of energy, you can bend it and be anywhere. My ancestors labored in the soil of rural Arkansas, making my 3 daughters 8th generation Arkansans. By the 1940s, my pawpaw Jesse Torrance, with his 3rd grade education, was driving a truck he couldn't afford to own. But by the 1980s, he was helping me set up my own business. His legacy was entrepreneurship and hard work.
3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff.
Some lessons were tougher than others. That moment, something opened up in me. A world of science and sacrifice, service and exploration. I knew then that I wanted to be an astronaut. I didn't know that being deaf in my right ear would keep me from flying. 10 years later, I accepted a full NASA scholarship, and my life changed forever. I went to Morehouse College for physics and math, and MIT for nuclear engineering, and a PhD in urban planning. And along the way, God just blessed me. My wife is Dr. Geraldine Jones. She's an Air Force veteran and ER doc. She's my partner and an incredible mom to our girls. And I love being a girl dad. I was also blessed to run the Arkansas Regional Innovation Hub, where we gave access to the tools and technology that Arkansans need to build businesses and create jobs. Arkansas is ready for a big leap forward, but we need the right leaders. The last few years have shown just how easy it is to slip back in time. So that's why I'm running for governor. Taking Arkansas into the future requires improving education opportunities from cradle to career, enhancing infrastructure from bridges to rural broadband, and making available every tool Arkansans need to build businesses and healthy families. It's about living up to our potential. It's about living out our values. It's about working hard together. And my fellow Arkansans, it's about time.
Now, one of the things that strike me about what you just saw is the same thing that strikes me about a lot of Black Democrats who ran for and won public office, and that is to tout a conservative message on the campaign trail versus a hyper-liberal message on the campaign trail. The same thing was true of Obama when he ran for president in 2008.
To wish away white Americans, to label them as misguided or even racist without recognizing they are grounded in legitimate concerns widens the racial divide and blocks the path to understanding.
It's interesting to me how these Black Democrats tout Republican or conservative talking points whenever they're running for political office. They're going to win. Like it's going to happen because conservative talking points sell. They don't sell when there's an R next to them, but they do sell for blacks when there's a D next to them. What it shows is that when you look at that small portion of Black America, small portion of hardcore, hard left, militant, Marxian, Black Lives Matter, their ideas are not as popular as conservative ideas in traditional black areas. They're just simply not. So what the media has done, and this explains Chris Jones's campaign, this explains Barack Obama's first term campaign. What the media has done historically, with the help of journalism, with the help of entertainment and education, is to align the word Republican with the word racism. And so what a lot of black people do who have conservative views is that they run as Democrats. And it's for one of two reasons. Either they do it because they genuinely believe that Republican equals racist, or they do it ulteriorly. In other words, they know that they are conservatives, but they know the weight that that word carries with a black demographic. And so they separate themselves from that word and associate themselves as Democrats because they don't want to be prejudged before they have a chance of winning their campaign. They find kind of this sweet spot where they tout conservative values, but they do so under the Democrat banner. Another thing that I find interesting about Chris Jones's campaign is that when you look at him and you look at his wife and you look at their family, this family is a picture of the American idea. You have a man who was determined, who was ambitious, who seized opportunities, and in so doing was able to become very successful. And his wife did the same thing. They met in college. They're raising 3 beautiful girls, and they're teaching those girls that they can grow up and do anything that they want to do as well. The reason why this message is resonating with so many black people, when they look at that story, they don't see it the way that I see it. They don't see it as this is a testimony of the American idea. This is a testimony that if a person puts one foot in front of the other, if they practice decency, if they pursue excellence, if they seize opportunities, they will make it in America. That's what I see when I look at that ad. What a lot of people see, because they've been trained and conditioned to think this way, is that to see a black man who is successful is to automatically think that this person overcame racial barriers to get to where they are. But it's a myth. It's a lie. The most successful people in America are not white. They are Indian. And they came here from one of the more poorest countries in the world. But yet, because they applied themselves in the context of America, they became the most successful people in the United States of America. That is a testament to the indiscriminate opportunities in America. But what the left has y'all thinking is that when you see a black man who is successful, he became successful despite the odds, despite how racist America is. And that's kind of the undertone of this political ad, whether you realize it or not.
The last few years have shown just how easy it is to slip back in time. So that's why I'm running for governor.
The left has y'all lusting so much for race that you literally can't see anything, whether it's a lack of ambition, which leads to poverty, or hard work and determination, which leads to wealth, without seeing it through the lens of race. Ask yourself, what's the difference between Chris Jones's family, who has dark skin, versus the same story being told by a white Republican family? The same exact ad featuring a white Republican man and his white family. Same messaging. What is the difference between the two? Ask yourself, what's the difference between the two? One is a black Democrat, the other is a white Republican. When you look at the one with the black Democrat, you say, man, look at everything he overcame. When you look at the white Republican, you say, of course he is successful. Of course he has a beautiful family. That's white privilege. America made his path easy to getting there because it favors white people. That's where your mind goes, because this is how the left has you thinking. But the reality is, look, I am a young black man who owns a plumbing company. Now, I live in Texas, and my industry is made up almost entirely of white people. Almost entirely of white people. I got my master plumbing license at the age of 25, when the average master plumber in the state of Texas is a 55-year-old white man. Now, I can tell you, without skipping a beat, that on my pathway to attaining my master plumbing license, I met not one obstacle that presented itself to me because of my skin color. Not one. I sought to learn the plumbing craft, and I sought to master the plumbing craft and to make a business out of it. And that's exactly what I did. And the only challenges that presented itself to me along the way was due to my lack of not really understanding fully. And so what I did was I hunkered down and sought to understand fully the different elements of the trade that I hoped to make a career out of. Not one iota of racism presented itself to me on my pathway to attaining what I've attained in my life in terms of success. And the same is true of most, if not all, black people in America who are successful. But the left has y'all so bewitched and so brainwashed to where you literally believe when you see a black man that, oh, he must have overcame so much racism. And not only that, this shows how effective they've been. A lot of black people who are successful believe that they overcame, that they beat the odds. A lot of black people think that way about themselves. I was literally talking to a black barber in Georgia. He has a successful barber business. He cuts a lot of hair. He's always busy. He's always booked. And I asked him, I said, what was your journey like becoming a barber? And I expected him naively, foolishly to say, it was a breeze. I like cutting hair. I sought to make a career out of it. And, I did everything I needed to do. And, getting my barber license was fairly easy. He genuinely believed that it was hard. And I asked him, what was hard about it? What was hard about becoming a licensed barber? He couldn't give me a straight answer. But he's conditioned and trained to believe that it was hard. I mean, I guess to the extent that nothing comes easy, it may be hard in that regard, but to exaggerate the extent of the difficulty to achieve a license, to achieve status, to achieve success, whatever your degree of success is encouraged by the left, particularly as it relates to minorities, particularly as it relates to black people. They want you to believe that the road to success is riddled with racism and obstacles that are specifically meant to keep you down because of your minority status. That's literally what they want you to believe. And for those who dare put one foot in front of the other and make it and be successful, their response is to say, oh, you overcame all the racial barriers, but there's still so far to go. There's still so far to go. This is how they want you to think. This is what they want you to believe. And so when you look at that Chris Jones ad, understand this is a man who is touting pro-America, conservative ideas. That's what he's doing. His life story is a testament to that. You don't look at his blackness and think that he overcame some racial hardship. Don't look at that. Don't do that, because that's not the reality. You're lying to yourself if that's what you buy into. This is a man who is a testament to the American idea. He's running as a Democrat, which is strange that you would run under the banner of a party that has given us many a demagogue. When you look at Baltimore, when you look at South Side of Chicago, when you look at LA, when you look at all these cities in America who were and are ran by individuals given to us by the Democrat Party, brought to you by the Democrat Party, and you see the physical, tangible results of their ideas at work, those leftist ideas at work, you should ask yourself, why would anybody in their right mind who has conservative ideas run as a Democrat alongside people who have done those things to those cities? Why would you do that? I honestly believe that if no one knew who I was, if I was never in a movie, I was never in the movie Uncle Tom, if I just had a clean slate, I came out of nowhere, I have a D in front of my name, I'm touting the same values, the same views that I believe now, I guarantee you that I will win a primary, a Democrat primary, against other Democrat opponents who align more with Black Lives Matter. I guarantee you I will. This is because Black people are conservative. Black people have conservative values. They do. They do. They do. But they allow themselves, many Black people, to be lied to by white leftists in education, in journalism, and entertainment. But when you survey and poll the average Black person in America, you'll find that most of them are conservatives. Most of them hold to conservative values. But it's a weird dynamic where you hold to conservative values on the one hand, but you allow yourself to be played on the other hand. You refuse to have a higher standard so as to not let yourself be taken advantage of by a subculture. Anyway, this is Chad. Please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. Until next time, God bless you all.